The whistle stop. He is Elliot, the voice of the referees. He is Andrew, the voice of the player, and I'm irrelevant. We are dipping into our Gotham community for this episode, bringing on a player, a captain, someone who's been in our New York community for a while. Yoni Zakoshansky. Yoni, welcome in.
Thank you guys for having me.
So we wanted to bring you in to talk about a few things. Your team was you helped run a TST team this year, which is something that we here in the 7v7 community that we operate a lot in. We're pretty excited about. So we want to hit on that. But let's start with you. Obviously, you're a part of our leagues and our community in New York City. But just kind of give us your soccer background.
So I grew up obviously at random clubs across Brooklyn, across New York, just training, playing, enjoying myself. Around the age of 16, 17, I left that scene. A couple of my friends got hurt. Basically, we kind of just stopped playing soccer. When I was 18, I moved out to Staten Island, and I got back addicted to the game. And now we're playing, coaching, managing, whatever, any job that has to do with soccer, I'm in the past few years.
So would you say your week, what percentage of your week is soccer related?
On my mind, probably like 98%. But
Awesome.
how many hours do I actually spend out on the pitch or recovering or building for the next tournament or whatever it is? Probably at least 20. I think it's got to be at least 20 hours a week.
So you were part of the TST tournament this year. Obviously, it's their second season. This is a very cool experience and this new thing that has kind of hit the landscape here in the U.S. Let's talk about how did you get involved? How did you bring that a team in? How did that kind of work out that you got yourself connected with the TST tournament this year?
So I guess like over the past maybe 6 to 12 months, I've just been building teams using the team that was in Gotham with you guys, Selfless FC. I've just been building teams to enter money tournaments across New York. We've been I guess pretty successful, you'd say. I mean, yeah, we've been pretty good. So as soon as I saw TST, I saw $1 million up top. I saw 40K buy-in. I was interested. I was over the moon trying to get in there. Initially, obviously, they had no interest in me. Not a big name. They're looking at the Ocho Cincos, the JJ Watts, whoever had the Ryan Reynolds. So I reached out to a few connections I have across New York City, and turns out Soccer Roof got an invitation, the indoor facility, and we made a deal. I bought their rights from them, and we built a squad and we headed over there. It was like an unbelievable experience.
So you guys are there. They put you up in hotels locally, or is that on your own?
I mean, we got an Airbnb actually. I got
Okay.
an Airbnb for 18 people, and the rest of us stayed across town in various small Airbnbs.
So the setup there, they use the kind of a soccer complex that the pro stadium is kind of built around.
Yeah.
Just kind of tell us the atmosphere, the vibe. A lot of people there. Obviously, matches just kind of happening throughout the day.
First of all, a ton of people, more than I've ever seen. Second of all, it was just soccer 24 hours a day. It was like you play, it's super hot. If you don't recover, there's no way you can play again later that day. I'm standing on the sideline sweating bullets. And I mean, the stakes are high. Everyone knows that. You're meeting famous people everywhere you go. You're just walking around. Roman Weidenfeller is getting a massage next to you. It's just it's definitely the best. I mean, ask any of the 18 players we had, me or any of my assistants. It was the greatest week that any of us have ever had when it comes to soccer, and definitely the most fun any of us have had in a long, long time. So we're very, very happy to get to experience that.
What did you have any cool celebrity run-ins?
Me, honestly, no, I'm not really like that. I ran into a bunch of them. I didn't even take a single picture. I shook Aguero's hand one time, and I just didn't even think to take a picture with him. But a bunch of the players definitely were walking around, getting pictures with the guys like Felipe Santana, Roman Weidenfeller, like I said, JJ Watt, like I said, Pat McAfee. So I mean, it was pretty cool. But again, everyone's under huge pressure. You're playing for $1 million, and I was thinking more about that, not really to meet any of these guys.
So who are the teams that you guys ended up playing against?
So in our group, we got drawn against Fit Bodega Vancouver, AU Vodka Swans, which is Swansea, and our last
Tobacco.
team that we played is
Tobacco.
Oh yeah, and Tobacco Road FC, which is a USL 2 team from North Carolina, I think, basically a home game for them. I mean, we won our first two group games on the first day, so we guaranteed ourselves a spot in the round of 32. And then we lost our last group game to Fit Bodega in horrible fashion. But I mean, I don't think it would have changed much. But overall, still just an incredible experience. I can't blame anything.
Why is it, do you think, that the 7v7 format works so well for these tournaments and was, kind of so appealing to not only just players, but I mean, the eyeballs that this tournament receives that obviously, I would say, obviously no other rec soccer tournament in the country is receiving the TV deals and the eyeballs and the attendance that this one did. What made this one so awesome?
First of all, sevens is just, it's more exciting to play. It's more exciting to watch. It's, I mean, I guess at the higher level, it is just as tactical, but I mean, this tournament was just, let me think of the best way to describe it. I guess it was just an environment where it was like, everyone loves the game. Everyone wants to play. If it's the biggest moment for 99% of the guys there that they will ever have, that they've ever had. They're playing on live TV in front of hundreds of thousands of people potentially. Fans in the crowd. We don't get that very often in New York City, unless it's a huge derby. So, I mean, it was just like an experience that these, like most of the guys, including myself, like I don't know how many times you'll get to relive that. So you got to cherish it while it's there. And if you're not given 100% there, you might as well quit. You're not going to give it anywhere.
What were I think a lot of people have noticed that there's a lot of teams that go and get these guys from like the semi-pro and pro like indoor leagues. Like from a tactics standpoint, do you kind of have to, if you did this again, do you think like, oh, I got to go find guys that this is their bag, like seven is their thing?
I've thought about this thoroughly and discussed it thoroughly with like maybe 50 different people over the past 6 months. My opinion was always no. My opinion was that those guys, I mean, we had a few of those guys come on trial, guys that play in the MASL. Obviously, fantastic players, but well worth the money they're paid. The problem is, it just doesn't fit my style. I don't want to have to play that kind of game. That game is super high risk. Obviously, it's a situation where it is high risk, but then again, you look at who won the tournament, and it was
Right.
those guys. And that's nothing against them. Great job. They played an incredible week. They were unbelievable every game they played. So just huge props to them. It's just not my style. I'd want to win it in a different way. I'd want to, not that I care how to win it, but the only way I could see I could see us winning it with the level of talent and the kind of players that I already had. That's my core group. Was to play the way we started the first two games. To play long, to play fast. Not like these guys. They were really really tactical. The MASL guys. They would they were basically just trying to keep the ball around the back, not really time waste, but almost piss off the opposition enough to come press them.
Yeah.
And if you press high without like an incredible 1v1 guys at the back, you have no chance. You're just going to be conceding 5-6 goals a game. It's like the level is too high. The press is going to get beat every time. So the players aren't making mistakes on the ball. It's not like Gotham and New York City where if you press you're going to win it if you're fit enough. Over there, they're just pinging it around you, one touch, two touch, and you'll never see the ball.
Well, tell us about, you said your group. How did you go about, obviously you're well grained in the community in New York. How did you go about assembling this squad? You mentioned having guys on trial. Or did you have?
Yeah, we had tryouts basically almost every week for a few months. It was mainly just the same crew. We just called the tryouts because every time we'd have one or two or three new guys. I was trying to break it. In the beginning, we just had as many people as possible come by. Towards the middle of the process, I started narrowing it down. I would invite like maybe a few extras every week, and then a few of the guys that I knew for sure would be part of the squad. So I started it by basically our first signing was the guy who organized this for me, who connected me with the Soccer Roof guys, Raul Naranjo. He now plays for Selfless FC. At the time, he didn't. He was still playing college. We signed a few of our boys, between me and Raul, Brian Curliu, who had an incredible tournament, Danny Angulo. Unfortunately, didn't get to play much, but still an incredible player. And from there on, it was more like it wasn't just tactical profiling; it was also mental profiling. I understood that for a week-long tournament, if you're going to win it, the kind of mental strength you need to have, the kind of camaraderie throughout the group, you're not going to get that just by signing the best players that you'll find. So we worked hard. We found, I mean, Thor and Marmot, like you guys know, from Gotham. I found them pretty easily. I've played against them for the past few years. I've been traumatized by both of them. Will saved my pen after that. I realized I had to sign him. I was almost too scared not to sign him. And Thor, I mean, you were there, Elliot. He broke my heart.
Yep.
I headed it straight to him, and I learned my lesson. Better to have him on your side than against you.
he can do.
Let's talk about what you're doing right now, the teams you run in New York.
I mean, right now we're playing my club, the one that I run, Selfless FC. We're playing Bowery Sevens, some 7v7 league in New York City. It's been super competitive the past few weeks. We just started. We've played 4 matches. We have 3 wins and 1 draw. I mean, the quality is super high, so I can't complain. It's competitive. It's fun.
And that's when I got to see you down there during my recent visit.
Exactly, yeah. Then I've been working for the past 2.5 years with Richmond County FC, based in Staten Island. We were a Division 1 Cosmo side. Now we're an EPSL side as of, I guess, August, when our preseason starts. So I'm just going to be giving my all to that and whatever our second and third teams do that year. This year, I mean.
So this is a podcast focused on refereeing. You've not ref, but you've played for years at different levels, different leagues, different styles. What to you, when you're playing, makes you go, this is a quality ref, this ref is not a quality ref? What are those differentiators for you that you look for in a referee?
I mean, to me, all refs are not quality. I mean, the issue is I want to win the game. So as long as we win the game, the ref is great. But, I mean, I guess the one quality that would make a ref just automatically, like, not fantastic, but automatically, like, a decent level in my eyes, is just clear communication. If you're communicating with the players, with the captain, with the other team's captain on a regular basis, and you're not explaining your decisions, but your decisions have merit because they're fair. Just because you're communicating why you made each decision. Whether you made it wrong or right is irrelevant, kind of. We know that you're trying your best. So I guess just like thorough communication is, I think, the key. Elliot does a very good job at that.
Elliot, would you agree with that?
Do my best to make that a part of my refereeing game. And the best compliments I hear from players and coaches about referees, not just me, but generally, it's a lot to do with communication and transparency. And when, we can't always convince those out there that our decisions are correct, but if we can be clear in our communication, then you don't build up that sense of grievance that can lead to problems down the line. So I think what Yoni's saying is what I hear a lot of. So yeah, it's a fair point, and it's something we need to bring out of all of our refs, even at grassroots level.
That's for sure. At grassroots level, it's even more important.
For sure.
Elliot, you had some New York rapid fire questions that you wanted to hit Yoni with, as someone who, you're two people who are much a part of that New York soccer community.
Well, look, I'm from London, where football's way up here on the pedestal, and now that I'm back in London, I'm telling people, man, it's the same in New York. They love their football over there too. But unless you're there in the New York community, it's just hearsay. So Yoni, just a few quick fire questions about New York and the New York scene. So your favorite football field in New York to play?
It's not as easy as it sounds, but I mean, our home pitch, All Hollow, we gotta love that one just because it's massive. So I guess I'll go with that one, All Hollow.
I actually haven't been there, but I've for sure seen it on on the gaming frame. Favorite NYC sports bar to watch games?
I'll be honest, I watch games alone. The only place in the past maybe 5 years I've watched a game with anyone else was No One's Home during the Euros. I had a great experience there with, one of my friends.
It's Martino's place,
yeah,
right?
One of my friends is a big investor there. So
oh yeah,
we went to watch the Spain-Georgia game. I think it was a quarterfinal or maybe around a 16. Great experience, beautiful place. I'm definitely going to go back at some point.
It looks amazing. I'd love to get down there.
Yeah, it is very great.
Favorite opponent to play against?
There's two.
Tell me.
With Selfless, it's CLS, no doubt. We haven't had a game that wasn't unbelievable. And with RCFC, it's definitely Sanjak. And if you don't know why,
there's usually not a game that goes by without a red card in one of them.
I would say 2 is the average.
2 is the average, right?
Yeah, we might as well just start 10v10.
You may have answered this question already. Favorite football memory?
Playing or watching?
Playing.
And it's definitely TST, no doubt.
Yeah.
Like we didn't. That's how you know the tournament was fantastic. There were 48 teams, 47 of them didn't win. They lost $40,000 plus whatever else they invested, and there won't be a single person that left with any complaints. So even after all that money lost, we still all had a great time.
International football or club football?
Club, no doubt about it.
Premier League or MLS?
Premier League, no doubt about it.
Premier League or Champions League?
Champions League. I love me some Champions League.
And you're a Chelsea fan, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you've had your... Yeah, Jeremy, all right.
21, 12. Yeah, all right, show me when you win one.
Hey, I'm not opening my mouth until we do, don't worry. Worst weather conditions you ever played in?
We had a game against CPR's third or fourth side in the cup this year, where first of all it was probably I was on like an hour or two of sleep. It's probably like 25 degrees out, Fahrenheit. It was hailing, and in about the 20th minute, I got fouled, fell, and scratched my face open, and played the rest of the game and with that like with a bunch of blood on my face.
Was it
Those
like
were
on
horrible.
turf or
Yeah,
horrible?
yeah, yeah. You know that
Oh,
field on the FDR, on the right side. I forgot what it's called, right next to the water. But it was horrible.
East River Park?
Yes, yes, yes.
I do
Also,
know
I
that
mean,
one.
you remember you didn't ref the game, but you were there the first time Selfless played CLS when we beat them 2-1 in the rain.
Yes,
Though
yes.
I didn't
I,
play, but those conditions were crazy.
I remember that one.
Yeah, we were arguing
Yeah.
whether we should cancel the game for about 6 hours beforehand. Each of us barely got 11.
Well, look, Randall's is not the easiest place to get to, and so you don't want to waste a journey getting there
Yeah,
for a
for
game that
sure.
doesn't
Takes
happen.
me
So,
probably 45 minutes to get there.
and some people it's more than that.
Yeah.
Um, Earliest ever kickoff that you played in?
And when I was a kid, I remember playing 7 a.m. kickoffs, but that doesn't bother you when you're a kid. I couldn't sleep at all the night before anyway. I just wanted to play.
It's like Christmas morning.
Exactly. For me,
And then last one I got here, latest ever kick,
10 p.m. Gotham's men's 11v11 for
Pier
sure.
40. Pier 40. You're
Pier
welcome.
40, 10 p.m. kickoffs is definitely the latest we've ever played.
And yeah, you get home the different day that you started.
Yeah, it's always a crazy experience. My father lives in Moscow, so after every one of those games, he's just waking up when I call him.
Yeah. That's my list. Andrew, anything that's come up that you wanted to ask about?
Oh, I don't believe so. You guys kind of covered it all. Yoni, do you have any last thoughts that you'd like to share?
I mean, honestly, I'm just thankful you guys invited me onto this. I wish you guys all the best. I think it was a really cool podcast, and I hope you guys are able to get more cool guests in the future. I hope I did an all right job.
You're great. And so I'm curious to know how you cultivate it with things like Game in Frame and Coach's Corner and Instagram and social media. So my question would be along the lines of like how you can cultivate such deep knowledge of the grassroots scene where information isn't so easy to come by.
I mean, are we still recording? I can go now?
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, so Elliot, the answer to that question is, I'll be honest, I just try to meet as many people as I can.
Yeah.
Always training, always around the game, always happy to go watch anyone play myself. If I get invited to play for any team, I even played for CLS this season. They needed a guy, I came. So I guess I just try to, first of all, be friendly with everyone I meet, especially in the soccer world in New York, and just try to almost make it more competitive by becoming friendly with everyone. When you know your opponent, that game is just much more exciting. Everyone knows that. It's like playing your schoolmate's team on the weekend. You know you're like it's just going to be a war out there. No one wants to come to school on Monday morning and embarrass themselves. So I guess just that and just keeping those relationships alive by reaching out and doing people favors, whatever, if they need something, inviting people to different events. We're trying to organize a money tournament in Staten Island over the next few weeks. I think we're going to have a 5K for first place prize. So just inviting people out to things like that, exciting events that they'll definitely enjoy, has helped me a lot for sure.
So you played in this TST sevens tournament. Obviously, you play 11s probably more regularly than anything else. Indoor sometimes can be like a 5. The differences, the preferences, where do you come down on the different formats?
So I'll go explain it like this, I guess. So tactically, I would say the more players, the more complicated. I would say also the more like sevens more resembles 11s tactically than something like fives does. Fives, I'm not saying it's an individual game. It's just like it's completely unique fives, especially with walls or without. It's a completely unique sport. Something like 11s when we played Gotham, when I had to run Selfless by myself for the past 2 years. I guess it wasn't a headache because I love doing it, but it did constantly give me a headache in terms of not just recruiting, but how tight the profiles are. You have to be if you want to win, if you want to be like a consistent winner. Like when you're building your team, it's almost like you can't just pick your friends. You almost have to build around your friends, just because the other teams are going to be strong, even if they're not like built as like a smart or like profiled as well as we are. They're gonna have talent always. We're gonna have a bunch of hard workers, yeah, but you need that talent and that tactical like diligence and intelligence in order to win games. So now that we've transitioned more to playing sevens, with just like I guess our on the side team apart from Richmond County, it's gotten much easier for me just because although the idea is still relatively similar, like the way not the way you'll line up, but the movements across the pitch still remain the same. But it's like I don't have to plan as aggressively. I can just kind of like hit up my friends that are good players and ask them if they want to come play with us today. And I know it won't harm the team, and they can't really hurt us. They can only help us, just because if you're a good player, you're going to be a good player at sevens. In 11s, if you don't fit, you could ruin everything for the team. The entire chemistry could be off.
In
Fives,
sevens, you've still got thirds, haven't you? And the transitions from defense,
yes,
midfield,
you
and attack,
definitely.
which you don't have in the fives.
In fives, it's almost like an all-action game. It's if in fives, if you don't have someone giving 100%, I would argue it's the same in sevens and 11s. You know, Mark. I mean, you haven't seen him recently, I think, but
I saw him down at Cherry Street.
oh yeah, and you saw that he doesn't run. So in 11s, he can get away with that because we have 10 guys who we know he's going to score. So these
Yeah.
10 guys, they have one job.
But if you
Give him
don't
the
do it in
ball,
five
run.
aside, you're 4 against 3 at the back or 3v2
If he
at
doesn't
the
run
back.
at 5 aside or at 7 aside, I don't care how good he is or how likely he is to score. You're not going to win the game. You might win the game. You're definitely not going to win the league with him.
Yeah, you could win a high scoring shootout with.
Yeah, but
you know.
that's a smart way to go into things.
Well, Yoni, thanks for hopping in with us. Thanks for giving us kind of your experience at TST and just in the Gotham and New York soccer landscape. That'll do it for us right here.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Good to have you, Yoni.
Good to have you guys.